bit of training today. Hey guys, Michael Bernoff, and I'm set to do a little bit of training here today. I set my outcomes after the last call that we did, and I talked a little bit about projecting. I said I'm going to take my health and my physical fitness to even a higher level than I have in the past. Now, I don't know if you've ever set goals for yourself or outcomes or things that you really wanted to work on for yourself, and you said, I'm going to go do it, but some sort of adversity got in the way, or you woke up in the morning and didn't feel like doing it. Well, I woke up this morning, and the last thing on earth I really desired to do was actually get myself to, train here today. But there was a technique that I used that was so simple and so quick that I can teach you that actually allowed me to get past that and got to where I, did tie my shoe and I'm actually going to be doing some training. So what I desire to share with you today is how to actually get those outcomes that you truly desire. And I'm going to share with you a known technique that, I know that the majority of the world doesn't know, that's going to assist you in literally getting any goal that you want and actually making it easier. And it's really getting honest with yourself in a very, very simple way about what's really going to happen, because I can guarantee you no matter what you're going for, you're going to have a little bit of adversity. So I'm going to share with you how to actually work with it and actually get past it, so when you have a morning where you wake up and you don't want to get on the phone, or you don't want to make the calls, or you can't do what you need to do and you're having a challenge doing it, how to actually get yourself to do it. So why don't we step into my office real quick before I go out there and start moving my body around. I want to share this with you real quick. Okay, as I just mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about getting your goals and actually getting them. I told you this morning I woke up, I gave you a little secret, that not every day I wake up and I'm dying to take care of my health. But I set some goals for myself in the last couple of weeks saying, it's the end of the year, I really got to push myself and get myself to grow, and I really want to push myself in the health department, because the healthier you feel, the better your life is. You and I both know that. But the biggest challenge is why people don't get their goals is most people are not realistic in the attainment of their goals. I mean, they have a plan, they write their goal. Well, let me just give you an example here for a second. Let's just say here is where you're at, and this is where you're currently at in your life, and this is your goal of what it is that you want. Your goals of health, your goals of wealth, your goals of finances, relationships. And people say, this is great, I'm just going to get myself to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, I'm going to get in great shape, and there's going to be no challenges at all. Or you say, well, I know there's going to be challenges, but you never take the time to think about them. Most companies do something called projecting. I just did a video on projection, and I talked a little bit about that in an audio that we did recently about one of the steps to get your goals is to use a concept called projection. Now, when a company does projection, they also build in something called contingency plans. What if it doesn't work out perfectly? Now, those of you that know me and have worked with me for a while know that I'm a very realistic person. I'm extremely unreasonable. I push myself. I'll push you as my client. I'll push you as my friend. I'll push you to get more. But I'm realistic knowing that not every time things work out perfectly. So let's just take for an example, you say, I'm going to set a goal like me. I'm going to get in better shape, and I'm going to start training more, and I'm going to feel better. And that's your goal, is to work out. Now, what are some of the challenges historically you've had? I mean, let me just tell you, if you're not doing it all the time, historically you've had challenges. For me, I've let time get in the way in the past. Other things I've let get in the way is I kind of give myself a challenge of if I don't do it perfectly and I don't get it, that exact workout the way I want it to be, I'll maybe put it off till tomorrow. But a few years back, I realized the technique that you can use to build in a challenge in advance and also build in a solution. Wouldn't that be cool to know what was going to happen in advance? Presuppose it was going to happen. Not like, being negative about it, but just knowing you're going to have challenges. You don't want to build in like, I'm going to start running and I could break my leg. That's not the type of thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about little stuff like you may not have time. And I know you might not be able to read that, but that says you might not have time, or maybe, you don't feel like it right away. Okay. Now, what can you do? I mean, you know that you might not feel like it. You might not have time. So what do? If you know that's a possibility that could happen, you could use one of these two techniques that I use, and these work great, especially in the physical fitness world. The first technique I use is called building in additional time. Now, what that means is this morning, I had every desire, every aspiration. My goal was to work out this morning, but the challenge that showed up was this. I didn't have time because a client called and I had to take care of a challenge. Now, immediately they could have messed up my goal, messed up everything, but because years ago I built in a concept called something might show up, I built in additional time where tonight I'm going to have the opportunity. I built in a perfect spot for me where nothing's going on, no client, after dinner, after work, after everything, a perfect time to work out. Now, the other technique that you can use, so first thing is building in additional time. The second technique you can use is really cool, is building in additional options. Now, what building in additional options mean is this. It's a very simple technique you can use. Is if my only goal is to work out one specific way, and I have one way of doing it, what happens if something shows up? Like people in business, I have one way of making calls, one way of doing things, and if you can't use that one way, you're going to be in trouble. In business, this is called a backup plan or having a contingency plan. So for you, my recommendation is a backup plan is have several ways to get closer to your outcome. I'm not here to tell you to mitigate what it is that you want and say, well, taking a quick walk around the block for a minute is as good as a 60-minute workout, but it is better than nothing. So my recommendation for you is have additional options. Like for me, I've said to myself, if I can't make my regular 1-hour workout, I could take a walk around the block, I could take a run, I could take a bike ride, I could watch a yoga video, I can do my insanity video, or whatever it is. There's lots of different ways to get to my goal. By giving yourself additional options automatically offers you the solution to solve some of the problems in advance. I noticed earlier I shared with what this video is called. It's called Building in Strategy. The reason why is most people don't build in secondary, ways of getting to where they want to go. I had a woman this morning on a call say, I had an outcome last night, I was going to make 2 cold calls, and when I went to call the people, they weren't home. I said, well, what did you do afterwards? She goes, well, I watched TV. I said, well, your outcome was to talk to 2 people. You didn't have secondary people to talk to. Knowing you're going to have these challenges in business, in life, in health, in relationships, it's like any relationship. You're going to have communication challenges. I mean, if you've been in one long enough, you've been married or in a relationship or a business relationship, there's going to be communication challenges, there's going to be good days and bad days, different days, like you feel like you don't even know the person anymore, and the next day they're back to being your best friend again. This type of stuff is going to occur. So my question for you is, would you like to know in advance what some of the challenges you are going to have? So if you knew what they are, your challenges, and you could find a solution to your challenges in advance. Imagine being able to have solutions to your challenges so you can actually start getting what it is that you want. So what I've done is put together a very, very special training call to actually allow you to start getting your goals. I've really dedicated a lot of time to help you start getting your goals way more often. The reason why you're not getting them is a lot of times we're not realistic. All we want is, here's where I'm at, here's where I'm going to go, and there should be no problems in between. Folks, get real. You got to build in some problems. But also, while you're building in problems, build in some solutions and a way to solve them. I have an entire call dedicated to assisting you in getting your goals by building in the right challenges for you, for business, for relationships, for life, and also how to build in the right solutions so you're guaranteed to start getting closer to what it is that you desire. All the information for that special training is right here on this website. You can go ahead and look over there and print out the page, write down the number, block off the time, make sure to be there. Usually my teletraining calls last about an hour, and I look forward to working with you into the future, because at the end of the day, it's not about being excited about getting your goal. It's not all enough to be all I want. It's about getting realistic and knowing you're going to have some of these challenges, building in solutions. Let's do it together. Let's have some fun, and let's start getting you your goals right away. Talk to you soon. Catch you on the training. Invite a friend if you feel like it. Catch you then.